If the stars were made to worship, so will I.
Hello, I hope you're having a wonderful day with the Lord. My prayer for you is that God will be drawing you closer to his heart, that your eyes will be open to see him. And I hope you enjoyed today's reading, which is from Dr. DeMay's devotional book. And I'll be reading to you from week 20, day 5. So we've been really diving deep down into the significance of the Passover lamb, correlating it with the body of Christ, of Jesus Christ, and showing scripturally that it was a preview of how the suffering and brokenness of his body purchased our healing at the cross. It became part of the atonement. This feast of the Passover was observed for 1400 years by the Jews, including Jesus, and it subsequently became known as the Lord's Supper. Jesus bestowed on this observance even greater importance, instituting it as one of our two sacraments as believers and making it clear that the bread represents his broken body given for us. This was now a new covenant, as the first Passover lamb was not broken, and there was no atonement for healing in the old covenant. Jesus expected us to observe this sacrament often, to focus our thoughts and desires on him and what he has accomplished in the atonement, because that is, in short, what it means to be a Christian, to believe that Jesus Christ was who he said he was and did what he said he did. And there's so much he accomplished at the cross: forgiveness of sin, healing of our physical bodies, our minds, and our emotions, and imparting his righteousness to us. As we read in 2 Corinthians 5:21, for he, God, made him, Jesus, who knew no sin, to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. Emphasis added. Satan, the accuser of the brethren, Revelation 12:10, really doesn't want us to know this. He has managed to distort and twist the truths of Holy Communion such that relatively few Christians fully understand just what it represents. We dutifully observe it, usually once a month in church, and we know it has to do with remembering Jesus' death and our salvation from sin. This, in and of itself, is truly awesome, but communion means so much more than that, as I've endeavored to show. Satan accomplishes his goal in two ways. Satan accomplishes his goal in two ways in my way of thinking. In the first circumstance, Holy Communion becomes a ritual. We just go through the motions and don't discern or contemplate its true meaning. For instance, the last time I had communion in my own church, and it's a vibrant, Jesus-loving church, absolutely no explanation was given prior to observing it. Time was short, and it had to be accomplished before the second service. I get it. There are practical concerns that come into play, but the last thing to shortchange is this ceremony that Jesus put such emphasis on, and that is crucial to living an abundant Christian life. The second attack of the enemy of the Lord's Supper is much worse and sinister. We'll address that next time.